Friends, today is the day. Welcome to Free Range Ted. I'm Ted, as you probably already know. If you're watching this, I bet you're a friend of mine who is doing me a solid and tuning in to my very first YouTube video. So today is National Ice Cream Day, as you may already know. And I chose today to launch this because that seemed like a totally logical thing to do. Like, people love ice cream. I love ice cream. And I thought, well, hell, I'll just make ice cream for my very first video. Except I don't know how to make ice cream, and I don't own any ice cream making equipment. Google's a good friend of mine, and so I Googled up like how you do a no churn ice cream. Found a really cool website that I'll put in the description so that you can have it too and give them total credit for the technique. Found a really great way to make no churn ice cream. Actually, 4 ways in this one website, and I picked the easiest one because I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And I think it's going to be great. So I've ended up, I couldn't decide which direction I wanted to go with this ice cream flavor. I've got a concept in mind, and but I couldn't decide how I wanted to execute the whole thing. And I think I've decided I'm just going to do it 2 different ways. So way number 1 is going to be a sort of a lightly flavored but mild lemon vanilla ice cream. And I'm going to top that with a blueberry balsamic basil gastrique, which if you don't know what a gastrique is, I'll describe that as I'm making it. But it's basically a sugar and vinegar reduction, which doesn't sound great for an ice cream, I know, but you got to trust me on this. As an untrained professional, not professional, whatever we decided, it's really tasty. It's super good on a lot of stuff, and I think it's going to be really good on ice cream. Lemon and blueberry, what a great combo, right? So I've got a lightly flavored lemon vanilla ice cream with a blueberry basil balsamic gastrique drizzle. Ooh, very chefy, which is not, I'm not all that chefy, honestly. So that's way number 1. Way number 2, version 2, is same ingredients, same stuff, except instead of drizzling it on top, I'm going to mix it into the actual ice cream base. So it'll be a lemon, blueberry, basil, balsamic ice cream. And I'm going to reserve a little bit of the compote, the blueberry compote that is the result of, I think, compote? Is that the right word? I don't know. I think it's compote. I'm going to reserve a little bit of that as some of the toppings. So I'll have it 2 different ways. I'll have one with the drizzle and then one with it all kind of mixed in. And we'll just see which one is the best, and we'll see if either of them are any good. I think they will be. I'm very hopeful about this, but I'm also not afraid to crash and burn. Part of this for me is just the experimentation. That's what I love to do. And if it turns out good, which often I think it does, I'm a little bit biased, but I think it does. If it turns out great, awesome. If it doesn't, then I've learned something from the process, mainly not to do that again. But learn something about the process, about the technique, and maybe it even inspires something else that I can do, which is a big part of what this channel is going to be. I'm always hoping to inspire you and me at the same time. I'm hoping that something from the video that I'm making this time will inspire another video. That's the plan. So I'm going to go inside and get this thing started. I think it's about a 6-hour process. I don't know. That includes freeze time. Otherwise, the rest of it's pretty quick. And we'll just see where it is. Maybe I'll come back and eat the ice cream here in my truck. I don't know. I like the audio, and I think the light's good. So we'll just stick with that. All right. Thank you. Oh, if you like what you see now or later, give me a like, a thumbs up, or whatever a like is, and subscribe. The more of those likes and subscribes that I get, the better it is, honestly, for me as a creator. It helps it helps YouTube know that people want to see my video, and will help share it around. And I want to try to get this out to as many people as possible. So I would greatly appreciate both of those things if you feel so inclined. Don't do it if you don't like it. Okay? Awesome. Let's get to making some ice cream. Happy National Ice Cream Day. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we're going to make our gastrique. And you may be wondering, what the hell is a gastrique? It is a combination of some sort of vinegar and some sort of sugar, and then you can infuse it with whatever flavors that you like. Today we're going to be making a blueberry balsamic gastrique, which I think is going to go really, really nicely with the ice cream. So to do that, you're going to want to use a non-reactive pot, like I've got here. Stainless steel is a great choice. And then to that, all you have to do is add in your vinegar. I'm using balsamic vinegar. That's about a cup there. And I want to add in about equal parts sugar. I've got just a little bit more because it is going on an ice cream. It's a sweet dish, so I want to keep it a little bit on the sweet side. So this is about 1.25 cups of sugar. It seems like a lot, but we're going to be using this sparingly, so I wouldn't worry too much about it being overly sweet. We're just going to use a little bit of it. And we're going to bring that up to a boil, get all the sugars dissolved and mixed in together with the vinegar, and then we're going to add in a couple more things. I like to bring this up to temperature on a lower heat. Because of the sugars in there, you don't want those to burn. So I'm going to bump this down to maybe 2 on this cooktop. That's probably like a medium low. And we'll just let this come up to temp, and I'm going to keep stirring it a little bit here and there to make sure those sugars in there are dissolving nicely, and then I will add the rest of the ingredients. Looks like the sugar's mostly dissolved here, so I think I can go ahead and start adding the other ingredients. And it's pretty simple what we're going to do. So we're going to start off with about 2 cups of blueberries. I picked like the jumbo kind because they're super delicious. And they tasted the best at the grocery store. So I'm just going to add those right into the pan. I'm also going to add in about the zest of 1/2 lemon. And if you don't own a microplane, which is this guy right here, if you don't own a microplane, you got to get one. It's probably my favorite kitchen gadget that there is. I add citrus zest to lots of things that I do. I think it brightens up the dish a little bit, gives it a little bit more flavor, a little more punch, without all of the acidity and tartness that you get from the actual juice of the citrus fruit. So I think it's a nice way to add that citrus flavor without adding too much of the tang. So got the lemon zest in there, got the blueberries in there. I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt. This does have a lot of sugar in it, so I want to balance some of that out. That's about 1/2 teaspoon or so. I didn't really measure that, just kind of scooped up some. I don't think it matters too much. You don't want it to be salty at all. It's just to balance that out. I'm going to give that a little mix. And then last, to throw you a super duper curveball, I'm going to toss in some fresh basil. I don't really know how much to add here. I'm just looking to kind of perfume the gastrique or add just a little bit of that flavor in the background. I don't want to add too much, and I'm going to keep it on the stems. I'm not going to pick the leaves off because I'm going to be pulling these out a little bit later, and I want that to be easy to do. But I'm just going to drop those right in, push them down in there a little bit, and I'm going to let this simmer for about, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. What I'm looking for is a kind of a syrupy consistency, and what I'll do is I'll test that by dunking in a spoon. The spatula doesn't really work for that, but I'll be dunking in a spoon and seeing how well it coats the back of the spoon. That's what you're really looking for. So we'll let this go for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. I'll be stirring it every once in a while just to make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom or burning, and then we'll be done. We'll let it cool. Okay, we're about 15 minutes in, and this has still got a little ways to go because I think those jumbo blueberries obviously had a lot of juice in them, and so you can see this is still fairly runny. If you look at the back of the spoon, it's coating, but it's not, I wouldn't call it syrupy just yet, so it's getting there. Maybe another 3, 4, 5 minutes, we'll see. I'm just going to keep stirring it and checking it. I'm just got to be patient with this part. All right, you can see that this is starting to look almost like jam, kind of a jammy consistency. Like the blueberries are really breaking down. Uh, all those sugars are starting to caramelize a little bit. Everything's coming together, and you can see on the back of the spoon it is coating nicely and sticking. I'm gonna let this go just for another minute or two. And then it will be time to move on to the next step. This smells fantastic, by the way. All of that vinegary smell has cooked off, and now what we're left is with the aroma of the blueberry and a little bit of the lemon. You can still smell the vinegar, but it doesn't have that kick or punch. Now it's just sort of all melded together into this really kind of awesome smell. And you can detect that basil in the background as well. It's really pretty nice. I can't wait to try this. Okay, I've turned this off completely because it's at the point where I'm ready to move on to the next step. A couple things that I wanted to pass on is like you can take this further. You can reduce it down further and make it even thicker. At some point, you're going to turn it into kind of almost like a caramel or a candy. Which is actually kind of nice, but it won't work for this application. But it's something that you can play around with if you want. But it's still pretty liquidy. But I know that as it cools, it's going to thicken, and it is coating the spoon very nicely, and that's what I'm looking for. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I am going to strain this because I want to separate that syrup from the berries and the basil, which I still need to pull out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just strain this into a bowl. Man, that smells good. And I'm gonna let this start to cool. And you wanna hang on to these berries. We're gonna use these. Great, so to make the ice cream that we're gonna make today, I had to do a little bit of homework because I don't know how to make ice cream, and I don't have any ice cream making equipment at all, at least not the traditional churn kind. So I, hopped on Google and looked up no churn ice cream recipes, and I came across an interesting and very simple one over at Handle the Heat with Tessa Arias. She's got like 4 different methods of doing it. This is the simplest method, which is going to be just using the stand mixer here and the freezer, which I think is pretty awesome. I think it'll turn out pretty good. I'm really curious to see. So I'm going to try 2 different types of ice cream or 2 different flavors of ice cream because I can't make up my mind on which way I want to go with this. Overall, we're going to have flavors of lemon and blueberry and basil, all kind of coming together. So I think what I'll do for this one is I'm going to make a base that's going to be a sort of a mild lemon vanilla. And then for the second one I'm going to do, it's going to incorporate more of the blueberry gastrique that I worked on earlier. So I'm just going to have to do 2 different ones and see which one's best. I don't know how else to do it. So I'm going to start though by adding into the stand mixer here 2 cups of heavy cream because I am not playing around. If it's going to be ice cream, it's going to be full fat and lots of flavor. So 2 cups of heavy cream right in there like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip this until I've got stiff peaks, until it forms stiff peaks. And then at that point I can add in some of the other ingredients. I've got some Mexican vanilla, which I think is the best vanilla to use anytime. I love Mexican vanilla. And I've also got some lemon zest. I took the other half of the lemon that I used for the zest in the gastrique, and I just zested it. And I'm going to put that right into this base. So we're going to start by popping this down, locking it in, and we're going to whip this until it's got stiff peaks, and then I'll show you the rest. All right, that looks good to me. Stiff peaks for sure. Looks fantastic. So it's basically like whipped cream at this point. So to this, I'm going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk. And this has been chilling in the fridge. You always want to work with cold ingredients with this technique, apparently. So I'm going to add in the entire can of the sweetened condensed milk. It's a little thick because it's cold. The interesting part of working around a stand mixer is they don't make it easy with the placement of the attachment. To dump anything in. I usually make a big mess, and I'm trying hard not to do that here because I don't want to make a big mess on camera, but I probably will. I don't really care, actually. I'm also going to add in a splash of Mexican vanilla. You can use whatever kind of vanilla you like. I wouldn't go more than like a teaspoon or so. Some people like more, some people like less. I tend to go a little heavy, but for this I'm trying to not do that. I'll try to stick to what the recipe said. So then the other thing is I've got the other half of the lemon zest that I'm just going to plop right in there. Get it all in there. That's good stuff. Hopefully, again, shooting for just sort of a mild lemony vanilla flavor when this is all said and done. And we're going to mix this until this is all incorporated, and then it should be good to go. I'm going to mix it on low. All right, all of the ingredients are incorporated well. I tested the flavor of it, make sure I like it. It tastes really good. It's very mild lemon, which is good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take half of this out of the bowl, and I'm gonna leave the other half in there because I'm gonna make the second ice cream with using the same base, but just adding some other flavors to it. So I'm gonna take half of this out and go ahead and pop it in the freezer. And then I'll show you the next part. I've taken half of the base mix out and I have put it into an airtight container. That's going to go in the freezer here in just a second once this is all done. But before I do that, I want to make the second batch of ice cream. And so with the same base, I'm going to now add in some of the blueberry balsamic basil gastrique that I made. And you can see I've been chilling this in the refrigerator. And you can see it's quite a bit thicker. You can see on the back of the spoon how much that coats now, which is perfect. I don't want to overdo it here. Too much liquid in this is going to make this probably less creamy, and I don't want to ruin that. So I'm just going to add in a little. I don't exactly know how much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the mixer and just add a little bit at a time. I'm looking for color and consistency. And I'll probably stop it, taste it, see how it is before I decide. But I just have a little bit in here, so let's just see what happens. I'll do this on low, and I don't want the air to beat out of the mixture there. That's about a tablespoon there. I think I'll probably go at least one more. Oh, that's going to be a beautiful color. Bump that up just a hair. I'm gonna scrape that down a little bit and get it on my hand because that's what you do. And then I'm gonna give it a little taste. I think I've got about, maybe I put about 6 tablespoons in. The color looks great. Oh, it's beautiful. And let's just see how this tastes with an ice cream fork. I don't know if you guys have one of those at home, but ice cream forks are amazing. They're just like regular forks, except you just eat ice cream with it. Oh, that's so nice. Has a little bit of tanginess, Ooh, that's really nice. I like that. I think I'm going to stop right there. That's fantastic. So I'll get this scooped up and put into another airtight container, pop it in the freezer, and let it become ice cream. I almost forgot. I was gonna put in the blueberries from the Gastrique. I've already added most of them in here. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, but as you can see, these are now nice and chunky and gooey and sticky. And all I want to do is just kind of fold those in. I don't want to hardcore mix them, so I've got my spatula and I'm just really just gently kind of folding it in there. You don't want to break down the air pockets that you developed whenever you whipped the heavy cream. So I just kind of scrape around the outside edge and turn it into the center so that it stays nice and light and fluffy, but it all gets mixed in there. And that looks fantastic. All right, we'll get this packaged up and popped in the freezer. All right, you can see I've got these packaged up. Separate packages. The top one is just the base sort of lemon vanilla ice cream, and the bottom one we added in our Gastrique, and you can see the little chunks of blueberries are distributed nicely throughout. These are going to go in the freezer for, I'm thinking, maybe 4 to 6 hours. We're going to just kind of keep checking it, see how it's coming along. I want it to be nice and frozen for whenever we go to plate it up. I like ice cream that's super cold and firm. Some people like it softer. Totally okay to dig into this when it's a little softer if that's what you like. But yeah, let's get these in the freezer and we will check in on them after a while. Okay, it is time to try version 1. So this would be the lemon vanilla ice cream with the Gastrique drizzle on top of it. And I gotta tell you, I think it's gonna be amazing, but let's just see. Wow. That no churn method is kind of crazy. It's like, it's very, very creamy and smooth and kind of buttery. That little faint lemon just like holds through the whole thing. Like it's really well balanced. I like it a lot. I might have to put more of the Gastrique on it. When you get a bite of it, it's like you get the tanginess of it just for a second. I think it being cold, it kind of tamps down some of the tanginess and some of the sharpness a little bit when it's cold. Because it definitely, when you have it when it's not cold, it's a little sharper and bolder, which I like. But this is so subtle and nice on here. Oh man, I probably shouldn't have made such a big bowl. Well, I mean, I can't put it back now. I've already double dipped, so I guess I'll plate up version 2 and see how it compares. I'm super happy with version 1 though. This is fantastic. Okay, now we're going to try version 2. This would be the version where I mix the Gastrique in with the ice cream base, along with some of the blueberry compote that was the byproduct of making the Gastrique. So this should, in theory, at least be a little more intense flavor. We'll see how that compares. I'll give it a taste. Let's just see. You can see the big chunks of blueberry that I topped it off with, and there's also some inside there. Oh, that's got a completely different mouthfeel. It's still like super creamy like the first one, but then you get the chunks of blueberry in there. It gives you a little something extra to chew on. It's kind of nice. The flavor is just a little more intense, but not a whole lot. It still keeps some of the lemony background, which is really nice. I also put a little bit of Maldon salt on top. If you don't know what that is, Maldon salt is like a flaky salt. Not a lot, just enough to bring out some of those flavors. Oh man, that's really good. Oh, I don't know if I can decide. This one is definitely like, tastes richer, a little deeper flavor. The other one is kind of cleaner and lighter. Neither one of them do I want to eat like a massive amount. Like I can't eat this much of either of them because it's basically heavy cream. So, but you don't want more than that. Like this is just like a few bites is like the perfect amount for this. Oh man, I can't decide. This is so good. I don't know. Have one of each. Well, I'm gonna call that a success. That ice cream was so good. I really didn't think it was gonna be that satisfying. Like the tanginess, the freshness, obviously the sweet, but the creaminess. Oh my God, it's so creamy. It's not for the faint of heart. It is high fat, loaded with a buttery creaminess that is just amazing. But you gotta not have a lot of it. But man, that was some good stuff. I don't know that I can pick between the two. I think it would come down to what kind of mood I'm in. And maybe the solution is go with the drizzle on top and the compote, but just with the lemon vanilla base. I don't know. The other one was super good too. I could see that also with chocolate with it. It would be really tasty with that. But anyway, what an amazing National Ice Cream Day. I think this is the first time I might have ever celebrated it. And I think I did it up the right way. I'm super happy for this to be the first thing that the first video that I made and the first thing that I prepared for Free Range Ted. Thank you so much. If you watch this whole thing, you're a saint. I'd love to know if you like this format, like if you like the sort of not quite how-to, but let me show you how I did it. Less instruction and more just like along for the ride. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. And I will try to get all of the notes and stuff in the description so that you have exactly the way that I did it if you want to duplicate it. Although I would encourage you to try your own thing. Venture out into the unknown and just see what happens. It'll be good. And even if it's not, like I said before, you learn something. But again, thank you so much. And I look forward to making another video for you.